And the Burrito Brothers, without Graham, he had left them a while back.
For decades, country music has had a rich history filled with tragic losses, unexplained disappearances, and chilling mysteries. From unsolved assassination to sudden disappearances, these dark tales still haunt fans till date. Join us as we dive deep into country music's darkest and unsolved mysteries, uncovering the tales that have become as legendary as the songs they inspired. Number 10. Graham Parsons. The tale of Graham Parsons' untimely demise and the strange occurrences that ensued is one of the most chilling narratives in country music history. On September 19, 1973, the groundbreaking artist was discovered lifeless in room 8 of the Joshua Tree Inn at the tender age of 26, yet another victim of the hedonistic lifestyle that characterized the time. However, unlike many rock and roll tragedies, Parsons' saga was just beginning. His death would usher in one of the most peculiar episodes in the annals of music. Parsons was a trailblazer in country music, expanding its reach to new audiences through his collaborations with the Byrds and the Flying Burrito Brothers. He coined the term cosmic American music to describe his innovative fusion of country, rock, and blues, defying the limitations of traditional genres. His friendship with Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones infused their music with country elements, while his guidance helped launch Emmylou Harris into stardom. Yet, it was his passing and the bizarre events that followed that solidified his legendary status. Prior to his death, Parsons had made a pact with his road manager, Phil Kaufman. They agreed that the first to pass away would be taken to Joshua Tree National Park, cremated, and have their ashes scattered at Cap Rock, a unique landmark where they had shared many moments. Kaufman took this agreement to heart, perhaps too much so. When he discovered that Parsons' stepfather intended to transport the body to Louisiana for a private service, he decided to take action. With the assistance of a friend, Michael Martin, Kaufman orchestrated what would later be dubbed the heist of the century in rock and roll lore. They procured a hearse, made their way to Los Angeles International Airport, and, through a mix of audacious confidence and forged documents, successfully convinced airport personnel to release Parsons' body. The staff were so persuaded that they even assisted in loading the casket into the hearse. The duo made their way back to Joshua Tree, sipping on Jack Daniels, Parsons' preferred whiskey, during the drive. At Cap Rock, they soaked the casket in gasoline and ignited it, honoring their friend's final request in a dramatic, albeit unlawful manner. The fiery spectacle caught the eyes of nearby campers, who promptly alerted the park rangers. By the time the authorities arrived, Kaufman and Martin had made their escape, leaving behind a charred casket and a tale that would become legendary. Surprisingly, the legal consequences were quite lenient. When apprehended, Kaufman and Martin faced only misdemeanor theft charges. As there were no laws at the time against the theft of a corpse, they received a $700 fine for the stolen coffin. This incident ultimately spurred the introduction of new California legislation concerning the theft of cadavers, informally dubbed the Graham Parsons Law. Eventually, Parsons' partially cremated remains found their final resting place in the Garden of Memories Cemetery in Metairie, Louisiana.
For 11 years, Jim Reeves was part of every day, like eating and sleeping and working.
Number 9. Jim Reeves. On July 31, 1964, country music experienced a profound loss when Jim Reeves, known as Gentleman Jim, disappeared while piloting his Beechcraft Debonair through a severe thunderstorm over Tennessee. Together with his manager and pianist, Dean Manuel, Reeves was returning to Nashville after discussing a real estate project. Despite possessing over 2,000 hours of flight experience and being equipped to handle challenging weather, air traffic controllers lost contact with his plane near Berry Field at 4:52 p.m. The incident prompted one of Nashville's largest search efforts, with over 700 volunteers, including notable musicians like Elvis Presley, participating. For 3 days, teams combed the forests surrounding Nashville, yielding no results. Speculations arose regarding possible causes of the crash, such as structural damage from the storm or disorientation in heavy clouds, leaving Reeves's fate shrouded in mystery and raising questions about what may have occurred to such an experienced pilot. On August 2, a local farmer discovered the wreckage of a plane in a dense forest near Brentwood, Tennessee. The aircraft had crashed nose first, with its fuselage buried underground. Investigators found that it had entered a steep dive, likely due to severe turbulence, resulting in the deaths of pilots Reeves and Manuel upon impact. The discovery deepened questions about the crash, particularly how it went unnoticed near Nashville. Witnesses reported an explosion, but no signs of mid-air disintegration were found. Many questioned why experienced pilot Reeves flew into hazardous weather when nearby airports were available for diversion. In 1990, a local resident uncovered Reeves's briefcase at the crash site, containing well-preserved documents and personal items after 26 years, raising doubts about the initial search's thoroughness. This tragedy marked the end of an era in country music, as Reeves was a prominent figure in the Nashville sound of the 1960s. Number 8. Bobby Gentry. In 1967, Bobby Gentry unveiled Ode to Billie Joe, a mesmerizing story that captivated the hearts of Americans. The song's plot, revolving around an object being tossed from the Tallahatchie Bridge, quickly became a cultural sensation, soaring to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and earning Gentry 3 Grammy Awards, including Best New Artist and Best Female Vocal Performance. It held the #1 spot for an astonishing 4 weeks and sold over 3 million copies globally. Yet it was Gentry herself who transformed into an even greater mystery. At the height of her success, boasting 7 albums and numerous Grammy accolades, Gentry made a groundbreaking move in the music world. She vanished from the public eye. Born Roberta Lee Streeter in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, her ascent to fame was nothing short of extraordinary. She not only wrote and produced her songs during an era when female musicians had limited creative freedom, but also challenged a male-dominated industry that sought to reduce her to merely a pretty face. Ode to Billie Joe was more than just a chart-topping hit. It dethroned All You Need Is Love by the Beatles, a surprising achievement that sent shockwaves through the music scene. The song's influence was so significant that it inspired a 1976 film and sparked endless debates about the true nature of what Billie Joe and his girlfriend discarded from that bridge. The intrigue was so compelling that the Mississippi legislature officially honored the Tallahatchie Bridge, naming it after the song. Throughout the late 1960s and 1970s, Gentry continued to break new ground. She became the first female artist to host her variety show on the BBC, The Bobby Gentry Show, which highlighted her diverse talents as a performer. Her performances in Las Vegas were legendary, featuring intricate choreography and stunning costume changes that would leave a lasting impact on artists for years to come. She penned and produced Fancy in 1969, a track that would later become a hallmark for Reba McEntire, showcasing her lasting impact on the country music scene. Her unique musical style transcended genres, fusing elements of country, pop, soul, and blues into a distinctive sound. She teamed up with Glenn Campbell on several albums, including their rendition of All I Have to Do Is Dream, which soared to the top of the country charts, highlighting her ability to cross over into mainstream success. Although often categorized as a country artist, Gentry viewed herself primarily as a storyteller who created music, weaving intricate narratives and social insights into her songs. Her advanced arrangements and production methods were well ahead of their time, earning her admiration not only as a performer but also as a pioneer in the music industry. By the late 1970s, she had become one of the highest-earning entertainers in Las Vegas, raking in $1 million annually for her residency at the Desert Inn, a staggering figure for that period. She made astute investments in real estate and various business ventures, including shopping centers and production companies, indicating her foresight for a future beyond her music career. Her business savvy matched her musical prowess, allowing her to amass a fortune that granted her complete autonomy. However, what followed was unexpected, an eerie silence. The woman who had transformed country music and opened doors for future female artists would soon become one of the industry's greatest enigmas. Now let's take a look at another successful lady in the industry who did not vanish but tragically lost her life in a plane crash. This is totally unbelievable. Number 7. Patsy Cline.
Well, the plane that we found was missing. It took off from Dyersburg earlier in the night.
On March 5, 1963, country music mourned the loss of the iconic Patsy Cline in a tragic plane crash near Camden, Tennessee. Following a benefit concert in Kansas City for the family of deceased disc jockey Cactus Jack Call, Cline opted to fly back to Nashville rather than drive with friend Dottie West. Cline's manager, Randy Hughes, an inexperienced pilot without an instrument rating, was at the controls of a Piper Comanche, despite particularly hazardous weather conditions that included rain, fog, and darkness. Many pilots had grounded their planes due to these dangers. During the flight, they made several stops, where Klein had opportunities to reconsider. At Dyersburg, the airport manager advised them to wait until morning, offering a hotel stay due to the treacherous conditions. However, Hughes decided to continue, thinking of reaching their destination, ultimately leading to Klein's untimely demise just 90 miles from Nashville. The tragic crash involving country music stars Patsy Cline, Hawkshaw Hawkins, Cowboy Copas, and pilot Randy Hughes resulted from disorientation in nearly zero visibility. Witness accounts and investigation findings reveal that Hughes, lacking instrument training, became confused and collided with a Tennessee hillside, scattering debris widely. Investigators concluded that he experienced spatial disorientation, known as the leans, which severely impairs a pilot's ability to gauge aircraft orientation. The wreckage indicated a steep descent at impact, suggesting Hughes lost control. Today, the crash site is a memorial visited by fans worldwide, yet questions about the decisions made before the flight remain unanswered. Why did Hughes, cognizant of his limitations, choose to fly in such risky conditions? Additionally, why did not Klein, known for her strong judgment, insist on staying grounded? These unresolved mysteries continue to intrigue those who explore the circumstances surrounding this tragic event. Number 6. Jim Sullivan. On March 4, 1975, Jim Sullivan, a 35-year-old singer-songwriter, left Los Angeles in his Volkswagen Beetle, hoping to rejuvenate his music career in Nashville. Disillusioned with the Hollywood scene after years of performing at Malibu's The Raft and feeling overlooked, Sullivan's journey took an eerie twist. He was last seen on March 6 at a secluded ranch near Santa Rosa, New Mexico, where his abandoned car was found, keys still in the ignition, along with his wallet, guitar, clothes, and unsold records, suggesting he had no intention of leaving them behind. Despite extensive searches of the nearby desert, no signs of struggle or footprints were discovered, leading to his mysterious disappearance. Compounding the intrigue is Sullivan's album, UFO, released 6 years prior, which developed a cult following and included themes of desert highways and alien encounters. One track chillingly hinted at disappearing into the endless desert, fueling speculation among fans about possible supernatural elements surrounding his fate. Sullivan's vanishing act remains one of the music world's most perplexing mysteries, made even more haunting by the eerie parallels between his life story and the prophetic lyrics of his album. Before his tragic journey, Sullivan was a well-known figure in the Malibu music scene, frequently performing at the Raft and forming friendships with actors like Harry Dean Stanton. His album featured skilled session musicians, including Don Randy, who would later collaborate with the Beach Boys. Despite his extraordinary ability to craft haunting and reflective songs, mainstream success eluded him, prompting a move to Nashville in hopes that his distinctive folk country style would find an audience. However, his disappearance triggered a complex investigation filled with inconsistencies and dead ends. The ranch owners who last encountered him reported that he appeared disoriented, wandering their land as if in search of something. While some witnesses claimed to have seen him in a local jail, police records did not corroborate any arrest. Anonymous tips to his family suggested he might be alive in nearby towns, but every lead fizzled out upon investigation. Extensive searches involving horses and helicopters lasted for weeks, yet no sign of Sullivan was ever found. The desert seemed to swallow him whole, leaving behind only his music and a lingering mystery that captivates new generations of fans. His disappearance remains one of the most baffling cold cases in music history, highlighting the notion that sometimes reality can be stranger than the mysterious themes found in songs about UFOs and the desert night. Number 5. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, celebrated for his mysterious persona, captivated audiences with the suggestion of hidden meanings in his music, a topic of fascination for both fans and scholars. His time as a Morse code operator during the Cold War is said to have left a mark on his songwriting. While intercepting Soviet communications, he learned of Stalin's passing, which may have contributed to the layered significance found in his lyrics. One song that has drawn significant analysis is Man in Black. While it appears to simply address his choice of attire, some speculate it alludes to military actions and social movements. The line, "Each week we lose 100 fine young men," has been associated with the casualties of the Vietnam War. with some researchers positing that it reflects secret casualty reports. Another noteworthy track is Ghost Riders in the Sky, which Cash covered with his distinctive flair. This has led some to believe that his adaptations echo real-life experiences from his Air Force days in Germany. His daughter Roseanne shared that he encountered various mysterious events during that period, which he rarely spoke about. Cash's gospel music, particularly The Man Comes Around, is filled with biblical themes and prophecies, prompting speculation about its foresight of future events. The song reportedly came to him in a dream, and he dedicated years to exploring its biblical references. Some claim that certain lyrics align with actual events, while skeptics dismiss these connections as mere coincidences. Cash's personal journals, which featured coded symbols and phrases, were found after his passing, revealing a methodical technique for incorporating concealed meanings into his creations. Moreover, during his recording sessions, there were strange voice phenomena and technical glitches that added an extra layer of intrigue to his artistic journey. As a result, Cash's legacy is steeped in an enticing mystery of possible undiscovered truths. Number 4. Keith Whitley. On May 9, 1989, the country music scene mourned the loss of one of its brightest talents, Keith Whitley, who was discovered deceased in his Nashville residence at the young age of 33. Whitley had finally reached the pinnacle of his aspirations, boasting 3 consecutive #1 hits and a flourishing career. However, behind the facade of his public success lay a man grappling with personal demons that ultimately led to his tragic demise from acute alcohol poisoning. The details of his last hours remain somewhat unclear, but Whitley's battle with alcohol began during his teenage years while touring with Ralph Stanley's bluegrass band. He openly acknowledged that he started drinking at 15, influenced by older musicians who relied on alcohol to navigate the challenges of life on the road. Despite these struggles, his extraordinary talent shone through. His deep, traditional voice drew comparisons to country music icons, and his renditions of songs like Don't Close Your Eyes and When You Say Nothing at All left a lasting impact on future generations of country artists. The timeline of the morning of his passing is perplexing. His wife, country singer Lori Morgan, was on tour in Alaska when Whitley shared breakfast with his brother-in-law, Lane Palmer. Palmer noted that Whitley appeared to be in good spirits and showed no signs of intoxication. Yet, just a few hours later, producer Reggie Young discovered Whitley lifeless in his bed. The autopsy indicated a staggering blood alcohol level of 0.47, nearly 5 times the legal limit for driving and well into the fatal range.
Harlan released an autopsy report on Whitley. Dr. Harlan says Whitley died from an overdose of ethyl alcohol.
The events that unfolded in the critical hours between breakfast and Whitley's untimely death have sparked a whirlwind of speculation. Those close to him have suggested that he may have been drinking the night prior, with traces of alcohol still lingering in his system. Others contend that he might have consumed a significant amount of alcohol shortly after Palmer departed. A coffee cup discovered next to his bed tested positive for alcohol, fueling theories that he had been drinking straight vodka from it, a method some claimed he used to conceal his drinking habits. Compounding the enigma were the conflicting accounts regarding Whitley's mental state in his final days. He had recently confided in friends about his efforts to manage his drinking and expressed enthusiasm for upcoming projects. Having just completed new recordings, he was gearing up for a tour. Morgan later disclosed that Whitley had scheduled appointments for alcohol rehabilitation, indicating he was finally prepared to tackle his addiction. This investigation has left lingering questions that remain unresolved. Number 3. Don Rich. On July 17, 1974, the country music world faced a profound loss with the passing of Don Rich, a crucial yet often unrecognized talent who tragically died in a motorcycle accident in Morro Bay, California, at just 32 years old. As the right-hand man to Buck Owens and a significant contributor to the Bakersfield sound, Rich's sudden death sparked numerous inquiries into the details surrounding the incident. Official accounts stated he crashed while returning from a recording session, but discrepancies soon surfaced. Rich was an adept motorcyclist well acquainted with the route, and the weather conditions were ideal. Eyewitnesses reported seeing another motorcycle and a car that swerved, but these statements were never substantiated. The investigation wrapped up swiftly, attributing the accident to rider error without delving into other possibilities. Buck Owens, profoundly impacted by Rich's death, later voiced skepticism about the official story, recalling a haunting farewell from Rich that lingered in his mind long after the event. Adding to the enigma of the tragic accident were Rich's unsettling premonitions about his mortality. In the weeks leading up to his death, he shared with friends a sense of dread and began teaching his signature guitar techniques to other buckaroos, as if preparing them to carry on his legacy. His widow revealed that Rich had considered selling his motorcycle due to a series of recent close calls that had shaken his confidence. The repercussions of his death on country music were immense. The Bakersfield sound, a genre he helped create, never fully recovered, leading to a prolonged decline in Owens' career. Number 2. David Stringbean Aikman. On a chilling November evening in 1973, the Nashville country music community was shaken to its core by the brutal assassination of David Stringbean Aikman and his wife Estelle at their farmhouse in Tennessee. Stringbean, a beloved star of the Grand Ole Opry known for his wit and exceptional banjo playing, had just returned home from a performance when he was ambushed by intruders. This devastating event sent ripples of fear through the community and left behind a trail of unanswered questions. Despite his fame on Hee Haw, where his unique look endeared him to fans, Stringbean's habit of carrying cash, stemming from a deep-seated distrust of banks, ultimately led to his tragic end. On November 10, after the Opry show, he entered his home only to be met with gunfire, while Estelle was horrifically chased down and assassinated outside. Their bodies remained undiscovered until the next day when fellow Opry member Grandpa Jones arrived for a hunting trip. The investigation resulted in the arrest and conviction of cousins John and Doug Brown, who were found guilty of the heinous crime. For years, whispers circulated about large amounts of cash hidden within the walls and floorboards of Stringbean's home, and these rumors were confirmed in 1996, when a farmer unearthed $20,000 in deteriorating bills while tearing down the original cabin. This discovery underscored Stringbean's wariness of banks. Questions linger about that fateful night. How much money did the assailants take? Some estimates suggest he may have stashed as much as $100,000 on his property. Why did not the Browns, who were aware of Stringbean's habits, conduct a more thorough search? Investigators have even speculated about the possibility of a third accomplice who remains unidentified. The assassination marked a turning point in Nashville's music scene, signaling the end of an era characterized by open doors and trust among neighbors. In the aftermath, many artists began to implement security measures. The graves of Stringbean and Estelle in Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens serve as a somber reminder of this tragedy, alongside the preserved paper money displayed in a local museum. You definitely must have heard of the Grand Ole Opry and Stringbean's story. There is more to it. Let's take a look at the greatest unsolved mysteries in country music. Number 1. The Curse of the Grand Ole Opry. The Grand Ole Opry, revered as the pinnacle of country music, has witnessed countless unforgettable performances and pivotal career moments. Yet beneath its iconic lights lurks a haunting tale, the so-called Curse of the Opry. This legend speaks of a series of tragedies that have shadowed some of its most cherished artists. While some dismiss it as mere coincidence, the unfortunate events that have befallen Opry members over the years have sparked curiosity about a potentially darker force at play. The roots of this alleged curse are often linked to 1923, the year the Opry began broadcasting from Nashville's National Life and Accident Insurance Building. Legend has it that this site was built on ancient Native American burial grounds, although there is no historical proof to back this assertion. What remains undeniable is the alarming number of Opry members who have faced untimely deaths shortly after gracing its stage. One of the most notable cases is Hank Williams Sr., who delivered his final Opry performance in 1952 after being expelled from membership due to excessive drinking and missed shows. Tragically, he passed away just months later on New Year's Day, 1953. His last performance took place at the Skyline Club in Austin, Texas, where he ominously remarked to the audience that the Opry will not have old Hank much longer. Whether this was a prophetic statement or a mere coincidence, his words have become intertwined with the curse's narrative. Another example is Jack Anglin, part of the beloved duo Johnny and Jack, who lost his life in a car accident on the road to Patsy Cline's funeral in 1963. Cowboy Copas and Hawkshaw Hawkins, both regulars at the Opry, tragically died alongside Klein in her notorious plane crash. The following year, Jim Reeves, another Opry favorite, met a similar fate. This string of aviation tragedies has led some to speculate that the curse may have a particular grudge against performers who take to the skies. Even those who managed to survive devastating accidents appeared to be affected by the curse's shadow. Texas Ruby, a trailblazing female artist, tragically lost her life in a trailer fire while tuning into the Opry broadcast in 1963. Donnie Horton, who had ominous foretold his demise, was struck and assassinated by a drunk driver after an Opry show in 1960. He had notably declined to become a regular member of the Opry, citing his ominous premonitions. The modern age has not escaped the supposed grip of this curse. Porter Wagner, a beloved Opry host, passed away shortly after marking his 50th anniversary with the organization. Keith Whitley, who had just started to make regular appearances at the Opry, tragically succumbed to alcohol poisoning in 1989. Even incidents that did not result in death have been linked to the curse, including career-ending injuries and unexplained illnesses that plagued performers following their Opry debuts. Supporters of the Opry argue that with thousands of artists taking the stage over nearly a century, it's statistically likely that some would face unfortunate fates. They contend that the curse is merely a story people use to rationalize random misfortunes. Nevertheless, the legend endures, whispered among dressing rooms and discussed in low voices by stagehands who have been part of the Opry for years. Whether it's a supernatural phenomenon or mere coincidence, the curse of the Opry has woven itself into the rich tapestry of country music lore. Some contemporary artists even bring it up in interviews, jokingly seeking protection before their Opry performances. Like all enduring legends, it continues to grow, adding new stories with each decade, ensuring that the enigma of the Opry curse remains as timeless as the institution itself. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.